I'm really sorry, okay?
What is wrong with you? Why are you blue?
Well, Hoard Test can be a mysterious place. While Packies currently have all of about 8 colours to choose from, Troodon has a vast variety of different colours you can pick. And so today, I decided to play one of these little devils. I was on the AU1 Hoard Test server, which since has become a buggy nightmare, but at least for today, the ping was pretty good. Little did I know this first act of violence was about to start a war. The bird had alerted its flock, and I would have to be a one-man army. In one quick moment, I had swiped her from the sky, pinning her to the ground and pummeling her with razor-sharp hind claws. For some reason, on Hoard Test, this particular lake is the only spot where terrors spawn. And so, by angering the flock, I had angered every bird that would ever spawn here. At least until I left. Fortunately though, Dondi has nerfed them to all hell. And that's a topic that I'm sure is a bit hot at the moment. Trudeon has a few bugs of its own as well. Sometimes you clip their wings on the way up, and then your Trudeon just jumps into an upright position. And the lag? Yeah, the lag still exists too. That was another example of the pounce disengaging. I don't know if it's just desync or some sort of bug. You can really never be sure in Hoard Test. These poor neglected dinos now have the turning radius of a passenger jet, and so you can easily see their path from a mile away, as they have to slowly make a circle and line up as if they're doing a runway landing. It's actually quite sad. You would think with this many birds, at least one of them would have the skills to land a hit, but they've been nerfed so heavily that they can't even land a bite on a Troodon. And the times where it almost seems like they do land a bite, they sometimes just fall out the sky and land on the ground. Another interesting intentional feature by Mr. Dondi. I will say I love the new momentum. I love that they can zip by after doing a dive. I think that's pretty cool. This small bird committed the crime of attempting to peck at a Troodon, and it was knocked out of the sky, just because. Yeah, if you can't tell, I'm really not a fan of that feature for the Pterodon. They do no damage, like, they're lighter. Their prime weight is lighter than a lot of fresh spawns. That is outrageous. That means for like a fresh spawn stego, you can't even peck at it. When you're a prime, you're not allowed to even try. Honestly, the thing that scares me the most about the Prime system is the removal of the freedom to do whatever you want. You can't hang out with older dinos and grow because they have their own things to do, their own tasks to complete. And for them, it's a waste to spend their prime hours hanging out with a fresh spawn and helping them grow. And that's because if you don't get to prime, then you're basically a free target for anything around you, because you're so much weaker and slower. And I've seen that sentiment a lot around as well. A lot of people saying they wish the prime system wasn't mandatory. And perhaps if at least you didn't lose speed when becoming a non-prime elder, then it wouldn't be mandatory. If it was just to look cooler, maybe weigh a bit more, it wouldn't be so necessary for survival. Oh, but you're supposed to die. It's the circle of life. It's the growth cycle. Okay, well, I'm sorry, but I hate that cycle. I hate spending 4 hours growing something and then suddenly I'm just old and useless and it's like, well, yeah, you're supposed to die though because you're an elder, so you're supposed to get killed. Okay, well, I want to get killed if I make the mistake of going into a battle where I won't win. I don't want to get killed just because I'm forced to be slow. I want to be free to hang out with friends, to make mistakes, to test out new growing locations, to hunt herbivores wherever they might go, and to challenge myself to see how careful I can play and how long I can survive. But I think maybe the devs are taking it in the right direction. You know, if you're old and not prime, there's always the chance to gain it, even if you're past 75%. And I've even seen suggestions of maybe there's a way to like de-age yourself so that you don't have to permanently stay old. You could nest or, I don't know, do something to be able to make yourself younger, which I really like that idea. For now though, I'll just play Hoard Test. I snuck onto this rock, and none of these little birds even noticed me. They were probably the same ones coming back from death since, as I said, they literally spawn here. Like, every time there's no other options. Guess what other interesting stuff happened to me in this life? Yeah, nothing, so here's a new life, where I spent my life in Delta Sanctuary, hunting some small creatures. The first one I came across was this little stego. Anyone remember that really fun pounce bug where you get stuck on your target but you're standing up? Raptor has had it for a while. Yeah, Troodon gets that too now. Really exciting. The sound of this angry feral hog was actually kind of terrifying me a little, and I'll include some clips to show exactly why that might be. Why are the footprints so bright, by the way? It's crazy. Even more terrifying, this pig came out of the fog, chasing me, making me horrified for my life. He was actually like, bro, what have you guys done to these pigs? What have you guys been doing to these pigs lately that has gotten them so upset? Because they've always been kind of upset. They've always been not nice. But at least they used to only attack you when you attacked them. Now they are active predators. They are actively a new creature that you need to be scared of and keep an eye out for and run away from. I jumped up higher, being careful not to accidentally send myself flying off the rock. I thought maybe he had forgiven me. You know, he was kind of walking away. Maybe he got de-aggroed, maybe he forgot. No. He didn't forget. They never forget. They never forgive you. They never lose stamina. They're evil. Oh, and why was there blood on my screen? Yeah, that pig already bit me once. I hate them. I was still keeping a watchful eye on the stag, and eventually a little Rex came by. I wasn't really wanting to chase him into the cycads. You know, if I got stuck on a little branch, then he could just pin me and that's lights out. Initially, I waited to see if he would return, and then when I saw the stag set down, I had new plans. I gave him a little nibble. Surely he didn't mind, right? But the hunt didn't really go anywhere. With the ping being high, I didn't want to try and pounce him on the edge of a cliff. I mean, I would usually pounce with ping higher than this, but it's just because the servers are so laggy, I don't know. I'm distrustful. But once the sun came out, I heard the noise of something a bit more interesting, and went to investigate. Turns out, it was a young Kano. And I'd caught him completely off guard. Oh yeah, that bug. Yeah, it's still around, even though this was the different day that I was playing. And for some reason, the stag had run right into this battle. Not really sure where he came from. I was gonna stand back, you know, pick off the winner. But then I started to feel bad for the poor thing. It'd been bullied this whole time. It wasn't mix packing or hacking, it was just a poor little innocent stego that was in for a long growing session. And since I had food already now, I too cooled and let him go on his way. The day dragged on. I was making my rounds of the sanctuary, killing for sport, when I heard the sound of someone taking damage from the bees. And so I had to go into investigation mode. It was a Rex, attempting to drag a deer out of the sanctuary. Even though he was small, those long legs gave away a tale of a long growth. Maybe not that long, but I don't know, Rexes grow really slowly in the beginning, or at least they used to when they first came out and I tried to play them. But soon I found a smaller target, and I was much more eager to kill this one. I pounced him through the gap in a tree, right when he was turning, and didn't expect it at all. Later I heard the sounds of a Rex fighting again, and it happened to be the same one from before. I was gonna give him something to remember me by. that was a bit of a laggy dismount. Now, I don't have that much experience fighting Rexes, but I have heard that their ult bite turns very quickly and doesn't have much cooldown afterwards. On the other hand, when they miss that charge, very slow. That's always the best time to pounce. Halfway through attacking, my brain decided, oh hey, you need water. And so I completely forgot about my actual target, thinking, I'll probably find him in the sanctuary again later. No biggie. And then as I was running to get water, I heard the sound of someone very angry and very familiar. The oink of a pig. Okay, not a big deal. Until, oh, he's running straight at me. Okay, time to flee. I sought refuge on a tree stump, listening to the enraged howls of the approaching boar. The feral hog, if you will. He never de-aggroed for a really long time, so eventually I decided maybe I would attack him. Missed my first pounce, like an idiot. And then thought, hey, can you fake out a pig? So I was trying to do that. Trying to see when he might attack and go in during the break, but you know, instead he does that quick turn and attacks me. He's obviously hacking. I don't know. ESP, damage, aimbot? I think aimbot is pretty fitting. Screw that pig.